So I have AIDS now?
But it's just a number. It's a way of flagging how much care a patient needs.
Season 2, we're really leaning in with the subject matter. Trans women living with HIV, gay men living with HIV. There's a lot of death this season, a lot of funerals. Death is in the air. It's 1990, New York City. We're in the middle of a plague.
No. He was so young. Just barely started living. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
The show opens at Hart Island, which is something that I had never heard of, which is an island on the outskirts of New York. It was initially a tuberculosis ward, and it became the place for unclaimed bodies, unmarked graves with a number.
The fear was that if these bodies were buried near residential communities, then maybe HIV was going to seep into the, soil, and it would get into the, water. And so they just wanted the bodies to be away.
Each one of these heart-shaped rocks represents someone buried here, left by someone left behind.
So what now?
We pray for strength to keep fighting.
I am HIV positive, and I still feel the stigma against people living with HIV and AIDS. I've seen my sisters pass from suicide, from HIV, and I feel very lucky to be 40. I feel the spirit of those that we've lost with this show. When I create, when I write, when I'm producing, I think that a lot of these characters wouldn't make it to my age, and I feel very lucky to be living in the time that I live in. We have medication. Undetectable is untransmittable, which means that if you're on medication and you're taking it properly, you cannot expose other people to HIV. I believe the end of this disease begins with the end of the stigma towards the disease. If people can go get tested and not feel any shame about getting tested, about getting on medication, then we'll end the disease. That's simple and true. But in order to end the stigma, we need to humanize the lives of people living with HIV and AIDS. I think Pose does that.
There's still so much stigma around the disease. Candy, for one, her story sort of represents those folks who felt so much stigma from the disease that they refused to reach out for help, or they refused to tell anyone that they were challenged with the disease. And so Candy ends up leaving this world and telling not a single soul that she was HIV positive. And I know that there are a lot of girls who are thinking they're probably going to take that secret to the grave with them.
A lot of people either they block themselves from that message because it's too much, and they don't want to have to rehash the past that they had to live. And then there are some, mostly the younger generation, who hasn't heard anything about the epidemic, so they don't feel the need to really learn anything, and they're out here not protecting themselves and, doing things accordingly. And I think that's what Pose is doing. Not only are we entertaining, but we're, educating these kids on how to live life again, and also telling them not to repeat history.
Negative.
With our show putting such a spotlight on HIV and AIDS, I've seen it from our audience remove the stigma. I've seen people going to get tested. It makes you realize how important it is for us to tell this story, because all of these folks' lives depend on us telling the story and depend on us reaching it to the point where we end the epidemic of HIV, where it's no more, where all of this work and all of these lives were not in vain.
I'm scared. To die or to live?